We've all been there. You're mindlessly scrolling through social media, unassuming playlists on YouTube, or free streaming on Spotify, only to be bombarded with this particular beat pattern and think to yourself, bruh, how can I even escape this? Except, you can't. Okay, it's been a while. Welcome to Random Researches, Dem Views, Bowings and Gen Ramblings, and this is a semi-rant on how much of a commercial machine Dem Bow has become nowadays. This is true for a good chunk of popular music, especially through the mid-2010s. Artists like Ed Sheeran, Little Mix, Justin Bieber, the occasional Clean Bandit remakes, and a whole lot of K-pop. Before moving further, let's examine the pattern that we're working with. Here's a typical 4/4 beat. And now, let's throw a triplet inside of it. If you crop out the triplet and only make those two polyrhythms of 4/4, then you get what's called a tresio rhythm. This pattern is kind of a syncopated beat that always seems to work, and it is used everywhere. But monsieur, what is syncopation? Basically, the parts of the rhythm are out of sync with the 4/4 groove, but still remains rather synced. A syncopated beat can turn a regular 4/4 beat into an 8/4, a 16/4, a 32/4, or even a 64/4. Anyways, too long did it read.
Syncopation makes your music bouncy, which is awesome cause people like bouncy things.
During my early teen years, my mum would take me to Zumba junior classes, and I was thinking to myself, while listening to the music, why is this so popular? At first, I immediately thought of Shakira, that Hips Don't Lie song with its incredibly catchy rhythm and Latin feel. But then, as I researched more, the history actually goes even further back than I thought. And while that song is not necessarily part of the reggaeton genre, it still does use the Dem Bow rhythm. So now I'm going to go into Bill Vert's history mode and go through how all of this reggaeton Dem Bow nonsense came into fruition.
How did this happen?
The story begins in 1991, 35 years after the first Eurovision Song Contest, in which 7 countries took part. A Jamaican dancehall rapper who goes by the name of Shabba Ranks created his sweet little song known as Dem Bow.
Dem Bow, Dem Bow, Dem Bow, Dem Bow.
That very song introduced the rhythm that would become the cornerstone of reggaeton. The so-called Dem Bow rhythm was apparently first used by Jamaican production duo Steely and Clevy in the late 1980s. Straight away it gained popularity when Shabba Ranks would use the beat on the aforementioned Dem Bow. Soon enough this rhythm would work its way across the Caribbean, specifically through Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. Especially in Puerto Rico, where the Dem Bow beat would be blended with hip-hop and reggae to create the phenomenon that we know as reggaeton. And the whole new reggaeton movement started to become popular across the entirety of the Caribbean. Too popular, in fact. That specific Dem Bow rhythm, the very heartbeat of this burgeoning movement, found itself a rather niche audience. You see, its pulse was so raw, so undeniable, that it quickly became the soundtrack for places that, shall we say, weren't particularly sticklers for opening hours of noise audiences. Yes, this infectious beat of this harbinger of global pop strangely became synonymous with illegal clubs. What a way to kick off a musical revolution here. From the shadows of the underground to the blinding lights of mainstream success. Every radio station, every shopping mall, every song, every single kind of musical movement had a variation of the Dem Bow rhythm. There goes reggaeton travelling through the Atlantic Ocean. I wonder if it will reach Europe before they all want to use the same money. 43 years after the first Eurovision Song Contest, in which 7 countries took... Surprise! Now reggaeton is becoming popular here. Here. The reggaeton beat truly exploded into global consciousness with Daddy Yankee's smash hit in 2004. It wasn't just a song, It was a cultural explosion that grabbed everybody's attention. Suddenly, by the mid to late 2000s, it seemed like every popular artist was making moves with the reggaeton sound. That Dem Bow rhythm had truly made its statement clear, and honestly, ever since Ed Sheeran's hit single Shape of You dropped back in 2017, it didn't just become a generic viral trend, it absolutely flooded the mainstream world. And suddenly, every single artist that we knew felt the need to incorporate that tressier rhythm with the Dem Bow rhythm in their music. And for that, I will never forgive Ed Sheeran. Personal grievances aside for a moment, let's talk about the bigger picture, because despite how widespread it became after the Shape of You pandemic, and yes, its frequent and frankly annoying overuse, the Dem Bow rhythm still holds incredible potential. That is if artists bother to approach it with deeper respect for its diverse and vibrant roots. It's become quite frankly whitewashed, and to be clear, I'm talking about how the sound itself has changed. When Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber used the Dem Bow beats on their songs, respectively Shape of You and Sorry, it became incredibly popular and got crowds and parties moving, but the actual song and instrumentation come across as sterile and mind-numbingly generic. It sold big numbers because of bigwigs like these guys, but it feels like the authenticity of Dem Bow and reggaeton has been toned down. And now let's show you the other side of the argument. Now, not every mainstream use was a total wash. On the other end of the spectrum from that whitewash sound, you have a more enjoyable usage, like Meghan Trainor's single Better When I'm Dancing. That's the kind of song where even the grumpy character of a DreamWorks animated movie can't help but bust a move by the credits. It's likeable, it's bouncy, and it works. So with that little detour out of the way, let's see how artists can use Dem Bow more authentically. First up, there's cultural relations. This is a historically black music movement, much like hip-hop and rap, but it's wonderfully open to interpretation. A fantastic example of this beat's incredible synonymity with movement, particularly belly dancing, is the aforementioned Shakira. Her expertise in belly dancing, combined with that Dem Bow pulse, creates a powerful and truly suited fusion of movement and rhythm. It just works.
Can you feel the rhythm in my heart? The beat's going tick-tack-tack. Always diving like there's no limit. Feels like there's no way back. Don't be shy, girl, go bonanza. Shake your body like a
Son of a...
Watch your language.
Fun.
Now, I'm not saying that you have to murder Duolingo and learn another language,
Looks like you missed your Spanish lesson today.
but historically, there's reggae-style vocals and or Spanish rap verses in the mix. A great interpretation of this is Rockabye by Clean Bandit featuring Anne-Marie and Sean Paul. Adding the presence of Sean Paul instantly makes the song a bit more authentic.
Fine, I'll take
No,
Vegan
shut
on
up, you're done. In my opinion, Jamaican vocals or any sort of vocals in another language can make the song a bit more authentic and ethnic in ways.
Bruh, that was terrible.
This gives me an idea.
A lot of artists back then will hear the Dem Bow rhythm, think it's a catchy thing, and then make a random song out of it. But they don't really take into account where that beat came from or the song that was associated with it. This is where artists like Anita step in, showing how to infuse global appeal with genuine cultural spirit. A good authentic use of Dem Bow is how Anita incorporates it into her songs, Envolver and Belakeo with Peso Palma, as close to the reggaeton sound that you can get without having any rap verses or being grasped by marketing douchebags.
I believe that was a rant.
Yeah. Just goes to show I don't.
That essentially sums up the ideas that I came up with. The Tresor rhythm in particular, combined with the Dem Bow beat pattern, is what gets me. I mean, I did create a few pieces of Dem Bow inspired tracks myself. It is fun to use, don't get me wrong, but I just hope to hear more artists exploring its roots and making it vaguely authentic. Anyone else? Hi, side note Jack here. I did make a playlist of some fantastic Dem Bow inspired tracks so that you can check it out, and if you want to add to it, I made collaborations open, so check it. So that's my take on the Dem Bow machine. What did you think of my tiny rant? Love it? Despise it? Or got your own takes? Either way, thanks for watching, and what do y'all think?